What up, my dude? Welcome home, welcome home.
Thank you, man. Hey, yo, tell Boo Boo I said what up.
Oh.
Tell the big homie Boo Boo I said what up.
Oh, so let's work, man. He just dropped a new joint, so let's work. He's back in the studio. Let's work.
I have to keep it completely real with you on this one. Former Supreme Team enforcer and co-founder Gerald Prince Miller has a message for Max B, and people are paying very close attention. He's telling Max B to stay in his lane and making it known that he's watching everything being said. That alone has people wondering where this situation is headed next, because the tension is beginning to build. If things continue moving in this direction, this could escalate into a very serious public dispute. Yo, it's your boy EOU, aka the Famazar. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been rocking with us for a while, the support means everything. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss a new video or a live session. Welcome to Famazar. We need to get straight into this because this story has the potential to get complicated very fast. Don't say nobody gave you a heads up. Gerald Prince Miller, the former Supreme Team enforcer out of South Jamaica, Queens, New York, is back on the streets after serving 34 years in federal prison, and people are watching closely to see what comes next. Nearly 35 years behind bars, Gerald Prince Miller was a co-leader of the notorious Supreme Team, a criminal organization that federal authorities say played a significant role in the crack cocaine trade that gripped South Jamaica, Queens during the 1980s. He's home now after all of that time. Miller helped lead the organization alongside his uncle, Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Together,
because 50 lied on him, and he wanted to clear the air. You know what I'm saying? But 50 said other things about him, and he wasn't so quick to talk about it. I said, man, tell that dude, man, I said, you got paperwork on 50, man? Send that stuff to me, man. Let me see it. He ain't sent it, did he?
Mm-hmm.
If he'd have sent it, that paperwork would be right here on the Prince Miller Show, showing 50 to be no good.
Together, they became widely known as the Cash Money Brothers. When you look at the full picture, there haven't been many people publicly speaking from their side of the story. For years, most of the key figures connected to the Supreme Team were incarcerated, which meant their perspective was rarely heard in any public forum. Kenneth Supreme McGriff is currently serving a life sentence, which has greatly limited his ability to respond to anything publicly. That's a big part of why this latest situation is drawing so much attention. A lot of people remember the controversy that surrounded Max B when he first came home, including accusations and very public debates about alleged cooperation with authorities. Those claims have remained heavily disputed over the years, and nothing has been definitively proven either way. But the conversation never fully went away. Now, Gerald Prince Miller has built himself a platform where he's been sharing his perspective on various stories and situations, including recent comments about Jimmy Henchman. And he's making it increasingly clear that Max B is squarely in his crosshairs. After Max B linked up with 50 Cent, certain lyrics from their collaboration were widely interpreted by listeners as taking direct shots at Kenneth Supreme McGriff.
YouTube channels and everybody else's YouTube channel that ain't even on street time like that. They don't really care about Jimmy being hot or this. They don't really care about Jimmy being hot or this person being hot or Max B being an informant or none of that stuff. Some people don't even believe that kind of stuff. You say it, they don't even believe it.
Mm-hmm.
But paperwork don't.
Gerald Prince Miller is making it crystal clear that he has no intention of letting those comments go unanswered. He's signaling that he's prepared to speak on a lot of these situations publicly, and people are listening carefully. Now, let me show you what Max B said that apparently didn't sit well with Gerald Prince Miller. Pay close attention. We're talking about the 50 Cent track featuring Max B, No More Tricks, No More Lies. In my personal opinion, the record wasn't all that impressive. I thought 50 Cent held his own, but Max B's verse just didn't connect with me. Maybe he was still finding his footing after being away for so long, but it wasn't landing the way I expected. To be fair, I'm not really feeling the music he's been putting out lately in general. I know he's had success working alongside French Montana, and they've put together records that have gotten plenty of attention, and much respect to them for that. I'm just speaking strictly from my own personal take on the music. But on that 50 Cent track, there were lyrics that a lot of listeners interpreted as being directed at Kenneth Supreme McGriff, and that's exactly where this situation started gaining real traction. Gerald Prince Miller wasn't about to stay quiet. Before addressing Max B directly, he also shared his perspective on the long-running rumors surrounding 50 Cent. From what Miller is saying, he doesn't believe 50 Cent should be permanently labeled based purely on years of speculation. People have been claiming for a long time that 50 Cent told on this person or that person, but those claims have been widely debated, and various people have challenged the documents and stories that circulated over the years. According to Gerald Prince Miller, separating verified facts from street rumors isn't always a straightforward process. He also spoke about his own journey, noting that he was released on compassionate grounds after serving approximately 35 years in federal prison. He presented himself as someone who stands firmly on his convictions and doesn't back down from what he believes, and that's a big reason why his comments are generating this level of attention right now.
Every time you see somebody talk about my father, your uncle on an interview in a bad way, do you always take that personal? Because you know it happens a lot. People want clickbait.
I don't take it personal because there's other people said worse things and I ain't said 2 words about them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then there's some people that say things and it makes me think. Like when Max B said on the record with 50, Max B don't know nothing about South Jamaica. For you to repeat something that he said, why you riding him like that? I know 50. And 50 know me. I knew him when he was a young kid. I know his mother more than I know him. When I see people riding dudes and then saying something about, it just makes me think, what's up with you?
Yeah.
And he made me put an eye on.
A lot of people are going to take what Gerald Prince Miller says very seriously based on his background and his reputation alone. That's just the reality of how certain circles view credibility, and there's no point in pretending otherwise. But this is exactly where the situation starts getting even more layered and complicated. This is the moment he openly calls out Max B. And watching it, I remember thinking there was nothing subtle about it whatsoever. It didn't feel like a hint or an indirect jab. It felt like a deliberate, calculated message delivered in a way that made sure everyone knew precisely where he stood. He wasn't leaving any room for misinterpretation. He wanted his presence felt, and he made sure of it. At the core of this, the issue comes back to long-standing matters connected to Queens. Max B is from Harlem, and Gerald Prince Miller made a point of questioning why someone from Harlem was speaking on situations tied specifically to Jamaica, Queens, and South Side history. That's his position, and it landed with a lot of people. But the conversation didn't stop there. He went even further, offering what he framed as a lesson directed at Max B. A clear and direct warning to stay out of situations and disputes that he believes have nothing to do with him.
Time you see somebody talk about my father, your uncle on an interview in a bad way, do you always take that personal? Because you know it happens a lot. People want clickbait.
I don't take it personal because there's other people said worse things and I ain't said 2 words about them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then there's some people that say things and it makes me think. Like when Max B said on the record with 50, Max B don't know nothing about South Jamaica. For you to repeat something that he said, why you riding him like that? I know 50. And 50 know me. I knew him when he was a young kid. I know his mother more than I know him. When I see people riding dudes and then saying something about, it just makes me think, what's...
He also made it clear that he would be paying close attention going forward, which immediately raised more questions about where this public back and forth could ultimately lead. I can't predict what happens next, but if that's the message Gerald Prince Miller intended to send, it's obvious he wants everyone to know he's locked in on this situation and may revisit and discuss information related to Max B in future conversations. You have to understand where Gerald Prince Miller is coming from. He spent approximately 35 years in federal prison, and because of that experience, many people believe he pays extremely close attention to legal documents and court records. He challenged his case for years before eventually being released on compassionate grounds, and that history is a big reason why some people fully expect him to speak in detailed and specific terms when he addresses these kinds of situations. There have also been many claims and stories surrounding his past over the years, including serious criminal allegations that have been widely reported and documented. Those allegations have been a part of his public record for a long time, but it's important to separate allegations from proven facts and let people draw their own conclusions. With all of that context in mind, people are now asking whether his latest comments are meant as a direct and intentional message to Max B. He suggested he plans to look into Max B's paperwork, and that's the moment the conversation really took off. It also raises a bigger question worth thinking about. If someone with Gerald Prince Miller's background publicly reviews court records and shares his interpretation of them, would people view that as genuinely informative, or would it simply pour more fuel on an already burning debate? Max B has faced years of speculation and public scrutiny, but many of his fans have moved on and focused on the music he's been putting out since coming home. Another question that keeps coming up is whether Max B should have commented on issues connected to Queens in the first place. That has become one of the central talking points in this whole situation. Some people believe he stepped into territory that simply had nothing to do with him, while others see it completely differently. Either way, the public conversation has clearly intensified and shows no signs of slowing down on its own. Supporters have defended Max B for years through interviews, podcasts, and public discussions, arguing that many of the accusations surrounding him have been misrepresented or blown out of proportion. Others remain skeptical and continue debating the same issues that have followed him for years. Those competing viewpoints have kept the controversy alive long after most people assumed it would fade. And now, Gerald Prince Miller stepping directly into that conversation has given it a whole new layer of energy. Some believe his perspective carries significant weight because of his personal history and the decades he spent incarcerated fighting his case. Others will likely push back on his conclusions entirely. That's exactly why so many people are locked in on whatever he says next. One thing is certain. The history between 50 Cent and figures connected to the Supreme Team has been a topic of conversation for well over 2 decades, so any new commentary from someone with direct ties to that era is going to draw serious attention. Whether Max B made the right call by getting involved at all is a debate that fans will continue to have. And like always, I don't make the news, I just break it down. The real question now is whether this public back and forth continues to escalate or whether things cool off before they go any further. This situation has the potential to get significantly more intense, and a lot of people are sitting back waiting to see exactly how it plays out. Gerald Prince Miller has already demonstrated that he's willing to pull out court records and walk through them publicly. He did exactly that when he spoke on Jimmy Henchman. Now people are wondering what specific information, if anything, he'll bring forward when it comes to Max B. We're going to have to wait and see how this all unfolds. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this public back and forth is just getting started, or will things settle down before they go any further?